I'm doing good. And
Yeah, it's
happy holidays.
yeah, Merry Christmas. How's everything been? How's the holidays going?
Never better. It's been a real great opportunity to visit nature, like you can see behind, and be healthy, and also connect with the family. And that's been a great part of the Christmas here. How about yourself?
It's been fantastic. I just graduated from college. I mean, it's crazy. I don't even know what's coming up next, but I've been toying around with different ideas. But before we, go into that whole college and job and blah blah blah, I'm so tired of working. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've been super tired of it. I hated college. I mean, I just wanted to get out. And it's actually a funny story. I thought I was gonna graduate 2 semesters ago, right? And then I realized that I failed too many courses and I had to catch back up, so I had to take the summer as well as this semester. So basically this entire year 2020, while we were in lockdown, I was doing school the entire fucking year, and it was jarring. I mean, I was so exhausted from just constantly doing exams and assignments and stuff, and you know I'm finally done. I mean, it feels like I got some weight lifted off my shoulders, right? But how did it feel for you when you graduated school, or beat a milestone like that when you were younger? I mean, were there similar feelings? Were there better? Were there excitement? Was there partying? Like, what was
Uh,
your reaction?
I actually finished uni and applied to business school, but then had no idea what the hell I was going to do because I didn't get accepted to business school first off. And so I went out and I decided to go get a job as a car salesman.
Oh
And
wow.
it was actually a process. They interviewed about 21 people and they took four of us to go on a 3-month training program to learn all about the car, how to sell the car and that. And it was a fantastic 3 months. And I actually sold 21 cars and it was a really good experience. And then towards the end of August, I got accepted into the business school. So I had to say goodbye to the employer who was treated me really well. And I actually kept a relationship with him when I went to school, business school. However, what a great experience it was to go and sell cars. And I learned so much that summer about sales, about how a car works. And it's something I really, I loved the training they gave us to persuade and to connect and to communicate and to build rapport. And so that was my experience of being graduated with no idea what I was going to do.
Wow.
And then I took some action, had a couple choices, something sort of happened. And then again, even though I was planning to stay in that car sales job until I decided what I was going to do next, having to say goodbye was also a part of growing up because you be honest, you be truthful, and you can then still keep relationships. And I think that's what's going to come down ultimately is that you go do some maybe some cold calling, you might go do some relationship stuff with family and friends, and then you go and decide what you'll do when it comes to your plate. What are
Oh,
going to be two or three things you're planning to do?
oh, Dave, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to just relax right now. This whole cold calling talk brings back a lot of bad memories of me trying to do that. I mean, I've been doing the school thing. How about we do this? How about we switch it up a bit and play a game? Let's just do a
Games are good.
little game. Let's just wind down, get into the spirit, and then we'll come back to this conversation in a bit. How about we do
That,
that?
I think it's a great idea. And you want to know, gaming is a really a cool thing to talk about. Did you know that this week, though,
Mhm.
Robinhood got fined $65 million by the SEC because their app makes investing in the stock markets too much like playing a game.
No way. They actually got. That's the reason
Fined
why they got fined.
because they made it too like gaming,
So it's
and
it.
that it didn't talk about the risks, it didn't talk about the risk of losing money.
Oh.
And so they, instead of fighting the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, Robinhood simply wrote the check saying, okay, we'll change it,
No
we'll
way.
make it more risky, classifying, allowing people to know.
Oh, really? What do you think about that? Do you think the SEC did the right move, or do you think Robinhood was like a pretty shitty platform in terms of not letting people know about the risks? So yeah. What do you think about Robinhood? I mean, do you think they were like sort of like just irresponsible for the way they built their platform, or do you think the SEC did like a sort of wrong move in terms of how they went about the situation?
I think what you're seeing in America right now is that organizations like the SEC, organizations that are trying to legislate and regulate, are way behind. And the fact of the matter is that the top minds go into technology, they go into finance, they go into creating, being disruptors, whereas the other minds become politicians. And
Yeah.
do you really think that they can keep up? They're not. So they go and they slap these silly lawsuits down. They go and try to regulate Facebook from competing against Google and competing against Apple. And they're trying to regulate, and they're so out of their water. So Robin Hood's just agreed to write the check because, listen, they couldn't go make 65 million another way. And these regulators, that if you actually listen to them, it's ridiculous. And
Hmm.
so governments, politicians, you just go watch, whether you watch Fox or CNN, and how out of their depths they are in the changes that are happening right now in technology, in finance, in surveillance. And so that's a little bit of my perspective as a bit of a boomer.
Yeah, yeah. But I think the whole gaming thing is it's actually pretty cool. I mean, the way it's getting built up. What do you think about that? How people can make a career out of playing a video game? As a boomer, did you even think that'd be something that was a possibility back in the day when you saw the rise of like
Absolutely not.
Nintendo? Really?
Absolutely not. I again, the idea of it, no. Like, I think it's beautiful, though. I think it's wonderful. I love the idea is that that little guy, I think 9 years old, he made $27 million on YouTube reviewing toys.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh
You
my
got
God.
people your age making millions of dollars, not by being the best video guy, but actually creating a site that people can watch you play video games.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
have
mean,
competition now in the video, in the esports. It's phenomenal. A whole
oh
new
yeah.
industry. Now we got a whole new online gaming. We got a whole new world happening. And you can sit here and complain that the horse and buggy is going to be obsolete, or you can jump into your Tesla and decide which way you want to go.
Absolutely. I mean, you have a very different perspective from a lot of other boomers. They have a huge problem with how the whole gaming markets have been arising and stuff, and they still don't understand it to this day how YouTubers even make a buck through gaming and other platforms. However, that said, let's
Let's
play a
play a
little game
game.
for ourselves, man. Like, let's do it. Let's do it. Just give me 1 second. Let me just pull it up onto the screen. All right, so let's play Would You Rather. Have you ever played this game before?
I haven't, but I love it.
All right, perfect. So let's do it. So would you rather magically flip genders every single year, or be forced to move and start fresh every single year? What would you say you would do? What sounds more intriguing to you?
Well, to be honest with you, I've done that, like be forced to move every other year. When I lived in Singapore, I moved about 14 times.
Oh shit,
So
that's
what would I
crazy.
rather do? I guess I'll say that one since I know what that one means.
Magically flip genders every year?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to experience things as a girl. Like it'd be pretty weird. It'd be
I think it's gonna be wow.
60% of the people agree, so I think we're on the right side. All right, let's go to the next
Wow.
one. Would you rather eat fast food burgers every night or eat Chinese takeout every night? Which one is more ideal for you?
Uh, I'm gonna go with Chinese
Oh, I gotta go with Chinese as well, and the reason why is because there's so much variety in Chinese food. You have
variety.
rice, you have chicken. It's just a whole better thing. Oh, yeah, 58% of people agree. All right, so would you rather sleep in your parents' bed every night or weep every time someone tells a joke in front of you? Which one would you rather do?
I love crying, so I'll weep.
All right. Okay, I'll weep as well. Honestly, I agree with that. Oh, people would rather sleep in their parents' bed every night. Wow. All right. So, would you rather eat 50 chicken nuggets or eat 6 Big Macs? Have you ever eaten more
Nuggets.
than one Big Mac?
Actually, I hate Big Mac, so nuggets
Okay,
is a
okay.
hands down for me.
Yeah, chicken nuggets taste better. And after you eat 2 Big Macs, it's already
I've got to
done for
think this
you.
is going to be 80. Okay, 60. Yeah.
All right. So, would you rather marry the same gender attractive person or marry the opposite gender that's beyond ugly? Which one would you rather do, Dave? This is actually a good one. This
Oh
is a hard
God,
one.
I'm going same gender.
Oh, you're going same gender? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go the opposite gender that's beyond ugly. I can't do the same gender stuff. Oh wow, people agree with you more. That's crazy.
You have to
Okay.
go to Thailand with me. You go to Thailand with me, you'll have a new perspective.
Oh no. Okay. Would you rather read the book or see the film? I don't know what this refers to, but let's just say
These days, it's see the film.
it's see the film for sure. Yeah, I would rather see the movie. It's just a lot easier, to be honest. So, would you rather nonstop peeing for the rest of your life or nonstop crying for the rest of your life? So you're just constantly crying or constantly peeing?
Crying. I like crying, so it's easy for me.
All right, yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree. It's a lot less messy than peeing. So,
Yeah,
all
like
right,
I can't imagine you have to piss all the time.
all right. Would you rather have a Pinocchio nose or Dumbo ears?
Dumbo ears.
Why?
Um, it's just it. I think actually, yeah, I like that action more.
All right, perfect, perfect. Makes sense. All right, yeah, more
Very
people agree.
close.
Very, very close. So, would you rather marry a new random person every year or marry one random person and stick with it?
Uh, I don't know if you're familiar with the
Jesus.
term polyamory.
What is that?
Polyamory is something that is. It's actually polyamory means that you can love more than one person at once.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
actually. I'm on the blue with this one.
You're on the blue with this one. Okay. Marry a new random person every year. Yeah, like, I mean, what if you marry one random person and stick with it and it's just a shitty person? Then it's just gonna suck. Oh wow, more people would rather marry that random person and stick with it. Hmm. All right. So
Well, I
would you
think that
rather
that's the institution of marriage.
would you rather eat a rotten raw steak or eat a human's cooked liver?
Oh God, that's gross.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. What are
Oh,
you saying, Dave? What is in your forte? What is it? What is your meal? What are you gonna enjoy
oh.
next?
Actually, I'd probably go with the cooked liver.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm gonna agree with that. It's probably a little bit more edible, you know? All right. Would you
I think we should.
rather
I think we've done enough. We were going to do five. Let's.
no, no,
Okay,
last
we'll
one,
do
last
this
one. I
last
think
one.
this is a good one. Lick the armpit of a sweaty cab driver or eat the earwax of an old man who has never cleaned his ears. Oh my
I'm into
god.
sweaty armpits.
Okay, okay, okay. I'll agree. I'll agree. Oh wow, 88%. Okay. Perfect. All right, one more game, Dave. This is higher or lower. Let's see what we can get, what score we can. We tried to play before, but we failed. All right, so let's hit play again and go. So this is basically a game that goes off of Google searches, right? So would you say that trigonometry, do you think Find My iPhone has a higher or lower amount of Google searches than trigonometry? I think higher. Would you agree?
Higher,
Yeah, way higher.
higher.
It's more relevant. Oh yeah, by a margin. All right. Okay. Would you say breasts has a higher or lower search rate than Find My iPhone? I'm gonna say lower.
Oh gosh. Um.
I'm gonna say lower.
Um.
And the reason I'll tell you
See,
the reason
porn
why
is
though.
really, really, really popular.
Yeah, yeah, like I
All
agree
right,
with the
I'll
whole.
go with lower, even though
I
I think
say
it's
lower
higher.
just because people would rather do like tits or boobs or something than I think breast is just a weird term. Yeah, yeah. See, boom, perfect. All right, meningitis higher or lower than breasts? I'd say lower because it's
Lower.
like it's very specific, you know. So oh
Too
my
niche. Wow.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's restart. We lost at two. We got to do better than that. I'm gonna
Wow.
skip this. Yeah, we lost right away. That was outrageous. Let's try to get at least five. All right, I think. All right, transgender or Tumblr? I think Tumblr has more. Definitely. What do you think?
I don't even know what Tumblr is, so I'll
You don't
go
know
with
what
Tumblr.
Tumblr?
Nope.
Okay, all right. You know what? If I get see now you're making me think.
Yeah.
Uh, fuck. I'm gonna say higher. I bun it. Okay, all right, yeah. 13.6 million.
15 million.
Yeah. All right, AT&T or Tumblr? I think AT&T is higher.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a global brand. I mean, it's around the world. Tumblr, you don't even know what Tumblr is. Do you know what AT&T is?
Yeah, but that's because I know the stock.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess it's pretty popular in terms of
But
that.
again, okay, I'll go lower. But
You'd go lower.
yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Hmm. See, our high score is okay. I'm gonna take the chance on higher. I'm gonna trust myself and take the chance. All right. Oh my god. All right. You know what? You're right. All right. Let's go. We have to trust you more. I have to trust you more. I have to trust you more for sure. All right. Let's try again. Let's try again. We have to get more than two. Let's try this. Payday loans or the 6 cents? I'd say lower.
What is that?
I have no fucking idea. I have no idea.
Oh, 6 cents lower.
Lower. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's higher than I thought it would be. Like the number. Thunderbirds or the 6 cents? These are just
Lower.
so hard. Lower. Okay. Oh wow. Wow. Okay, Zinedine Zidane or Thunderbirds? I'd say higher. Do you know who Zinedine
Sorry,
Zidane is?
what?
Oh,
Oh,
sorry. My connection.
yeah, higher.
Higher, right? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's actually lower than I thought it would be as well. All right, Border Collie. I have no idea what that is. Or Zinedine Zidane.
It's a dog. Higher.
Higher. Okay, higher.
Animals.
Oh, wow. All right, you were right about that. Athletics or Border Collie? What do you think?
Um, hmm. Let's go lower.
Lower? All right. You're smashing this game. Wow, you're actually good at this game. The Rolling Stones or Athletics? I'd say higher. I could go for
Stones.
higher.
Higher.
Higher. Perfect. Oh, wow.
Wow, what a surprise.
All right, yeah. So we beat our high score. I think that's enough games for today. Uh,
That was great.
let's get back to business, man. All right, perfect. So yeah, we were talking about graduating. I mean, what do you do after graduation? Like, what did you do after graduating? Was it like a scary time for you to just think about how, like, you have all this time now and you don't really know what's coming next? What did you do in that situation? Because I think I'm going through a bit of that right now, where I'm just sort of confused as to which direction to take.
To be very honest with you, I was very, very uncertain. I was not very happy when I graduated. And in fact, even at my graduation ceremony, I didn't even keep the gown on very much. I hurried, took it off, and I really upset my mother because I was the first sort of grandchild of my grandparents to graduate, yet I didn't think it was anything to celebrate. And so I was pretty unsure about what I wanted to do and ended up looking around. I thought about real estate. I thought about, again, car sales. I tried to do anything just to stay busy that summer. At the time, I was working part time for Sears. I was potentially going to work a little bit more full time with them. And then I also applied to do a master's. And for about 3 or 4 months there, I got that car sales job, and I just went and did my best at it and learned. Yet, really, I was I felt I was very young, a very young 21-year-old, very inexperienced, and so had a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, I think I'm going through a bit of like a similar thing whereas I feel like I don't have that much experience in terms of working in a particular job or in a particular field, because like while I was in college, all I was doing was business. I was trying different Shopify stores. I was trying speaking. I was trying many different businesses. So I feel like, I have skills. However, I don't know how to go about putting the experience that I have on a resume. Do I just share that I spoke at this event, or I started this business, I managed this team? Like, it's all a bit confusing to me. But what was your timeline after graduating? Like, how long did it take you to find that job? And then after you found that job, how long did it take you to figure out what you really wanted to do and start that career? Like, that sort of thing. Give us a bit of a timeline, because I think it'll help a lot of the viewers out, giving them a bit of hope, giving them a bit of, like, understanding as to how they can go about, taking action as
Well, I
well.
guess I would have finished school in April, and
Hmm.
that's when I started looking around and applied for some additional schools. So I applied to 2 business schools.
Okay.
Yet I also decided, well, I'm going to be free from May, June, July, August. I'm going to be free for 4 months. So let's go do something. And so I started looking at the newspaper. That's what we had. That's where the jobs were posted at that time. And I worked on the resume, a 1-page resume, a 2-page resume, a 3-page resume. So I actually had 3 copies of the resume.
Okay.
I liked the format that I found, which was a 1-pager. What are you looking for? And so when you're applying, you try to tailor it to who you're applying. And so sent out probably about 30 resumes and had about 7 interviews and decided to use the interview process as an experiment also to get good at it. And I to be honest with you, I think interviewing's fun. And I guess that was the key to the success of getting a job, is that I looked at all of this as a fun experience. And I think that's the psychology that I'm inviting people right now, is go and have some interviews. Right now, it's probably going to be virtual interviews if you can get them. Have the opportunity where these days, I think if you can offer some volunteer service in organizations that might get you some experience. So someone like you, if you were to get some experience in the social media for the city or for the library or for a bank or so that you would be able to get some experience and some resume builder experience, that might be fun, especially if you get something that you're good at, that you're like if you were to get a job in social media for whether it's a charity or a company, I think that would probably be a pretty engaging job for you.
Okay.
Yet I do believe it's because we had a joke when I finished business school, is that we used to have what's called the wall of shame, because friends of mine would send out 100 resumes and they would get rejection letters and they'd put it on the wall and it would become the hall of shame. And so it was a bit of a game, but we did play that game also. I was lucky to, again, get some interviews. And because I think it was the car sales experience that got me my opportunity to the bank. So for many people, and you would be one that I'd really encourage, see if you can get a sales gig, because you spending 3 months, 6 months doing sales and being paid or having the upside potential to double or triple your salary, that could be really fun for you.
Oh, wow.
That was my secret, is that they gave us a base, but I was able to actually make 3 times my base because they gave awards. Had special car of the week, car of the day. I remember selling a car that was being fixed on the dolly up above, and I actually told the lady, "Oh yeah, this is a special car," and she bought it even though it was being fixed and it was up above the ground. And so, and I got a $500 bonus for selling that car. And
Oh,
so
wow.
that is something that I would be encouraging some people, if they can get around the idea of getting some training in sales, developing sales skills, those will stay with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, yeah. I think another idea that I was toying around with, because I did think about, like, getting a job and stuff, and I am doing my business, so I'm obviously going to be working on that on my free time. So I'm really going to be hustling in terms of like some of the plans that I have, right? Getting a job in sales. One thing that I was really thinking about was breaking like a bit of a pattern, like changing the environment around me, meaning that I move elsewhere. Like, let's say, uh, in Vancouver or Calgary, or just change the location that I'm at, just to stay away from the distractions. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a good idea, or I mean, what do you think about that?
I
Because I
think
know
it's
you
a
have a bit of
great idea
experience. Okay.
for someone as a 20-year-old to suggest that they go to another city and they start anew, because then you'll be more outgoing. You won't have the distractions. You'll be actually looking to create new networks. You'll have opportunities. So if you go give yourself a 6 to 12 month stint in a place like Vancouver, or a place that is different for you, like, again, if you love Montreal, like, if you were to go do something like that, be phenomenal.
Really? Do you think that's an experience that could really, like, change the way that I sort of operate, and sort of like stay out of my comfort
Absolutely.
zone and stuff?
Well, absolutely, because you're probably going to have what's called the um, it's almost traumatic when you leave home and you get homesick. And that homesick experience is very real. I remember when I went to Japan for the first time, I spent part of the 2 days like crying, like because I left my family, I left my girlfriend at the time, I left comfort zone, I left. And why was I going to Japan where I didn't speak the language, I didn't know anybody, I had no friends, and so it was a panic. Yet after 3 days, and when I started making friends and that, my life again, I never looked back. Again, it kept going international, meeting lots of people, doing lots of things like that. You're still going to have ups and downs, yet it is a great way for somebody to step out and go on a journey.
After graduating, how long did it take you to make the decision to move to Japan and pursue a career over there?
Well, again, when I graduated from undergrad,
Yeah.
I worked as a car salesman for 4 months. Then I actually got accepted into an international MBA program. And the dream I had was to get one of my semesters in Japan. But the first time I applied, got rejected. Second time I applied, got rejected. Third time I actually got it. And it was one of my happiest days, like when I actually got the paper and it says, "You've been accepted for this scholarship." I was like, wow. I was like, and I was
Oh.
jumping all around, and it was like, and again, it was just so euphoric. It was a high, yet then when I got there, it was a low. So it was like one of those things about, I think life is, it is about an entrepreneur. It's about being on a roller coaster. The highs are high and the lows are low. And the longer you're there, Japan tend to be the higher the highs and the lower the lows. And so that is an experience that you can hear. And then when you are in the situation where you got a high, really that's when you learn, and you come down and you enjoy it, yet you don't let it go to your ego. And whenever it goes to your ego, when you think you're so great and you're the best and all, like that's when you get smacked, and often got to pick yourself up, because you'll have often a comeuppance, which is part of the journey of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, but when I envision in my head, right, like you going to Japan and living there, I think it must be fucking cool. Like, you're just in a new country. I mean, Japan already is a cool place. Like, where did you go? Did you go to Tokyo or something? Like, like those sort of cool cities that everyone likes to travel to, or did you go to like a smaller
Well,
town?
the we arrived in Tokyo, and that's where I
Okay.
had like my first breakdown. It's
Oh,
like the
really?
homesickness, and it was 2 days, and then we went out to Mount Fuji, which is about a 90-minute train ride from Tokyo, in a
Hmm.
place called Shizuoka, which is by the seaside, and we had an international institute for studies and training, and so it was 60 Japanese salarymen, 30 foreigners, and we lived together in a dorm like establishment for
Okay.
2 semesters. So some
Oh.
of my friends came to Tokyo every weekend because they wanted to party. Others of us who didn't know any Japanese, and that we actually worked on studying, practicing our Japanese. And then we had a couple of road trips that were one to Kyoto and to Nagoya to see Toyota City, and then one also to Tokyo. So it was structured in a really great way, where we had interactions with the all the foreigners, the Gai Kokujin, and then we also had of course, the classes with all of the Nipponjin, all the Nihonjin salaryman. And so, yeah, it was a great experience. This was when Japan was a superpower, an economic superpower, like 7 of the top 10 banks, most of the largest investment banks, most of the largest insurance. The stock market went up to 39,800, and today it's like less than a third. And so it's probably 2/3 of what it was 25 years ago. So that's
Wow.
why people right now getting so euphoric about the Canadian and American markets. It could be corrected in a big way.
Yeah, you mentioned that some of your friends actually went out and partied in Tokyo, and you didn't. Have you ever partied in Tokyo? And if
Oh
you
yeah,
did, like, what were they? Were they? Would you say they're better at partying than Canadians or Americans in that sort of respect?
yeah. It's very different. It's quite. It can be quite wild.
Okay.
Wilder than what most people are aware of. Because again, I think in Canada we have sort of time restrictions and certain
Hmm.
curfews and that. And in Japan it was pretty much 24/7. And some of my
Really?
friends who were super partiers, they could go for like 24, 48, 72 hours. And when you go visit places like Tokyo, like people would go for like a 24, 48 hour party. And
Oh.
it was expensive. I remember at that, like 20 years old, going to a club where at that time I had never been to a club where it was like 45 bucks just to get in.
Oh
And
wow, yeah, that's pretty
include
expensive.
like 2 drinks, but it was definitely a new experience that I definitely encourage anyone who has a chance to travel. Again, another thing that some people do when you're, I think, if you plan it out, like taking a gap year is something that if you're into that, if that's something that's calling you, go for it. I had friends do gap years when they're 20. Some did it when they're 23. Some people do it when they're 30. And
Oh
so
wow.
any time to go travel and learn is a great experience.
Yeah, and how long did it take you to like learn the language and actually fit in with people in Japan?
Well, see, the funny thing is that in Japan, you're never going to quote fit in. You're always going to be a guy kokujin. You're always going to be a foreigner. And
The
so
outsider, yeah.
even if you're going to speak the language, it's funny. The better you get, the more critical people will be of you, because if you're attempting to be uh, Japanese, they're going to like push you back a little bit. So
Yeah.
they'll even be critical when you're good. But when you're starting out Japanese and you're just a beginner, they're always going to tell you, "Oh, Nihongo shioi, oh, no, Jozu desu ne." It's like, "Oh, you're so good at speaking Japanese. Your Japanese is so good." They're going to be really nurturing. It's called goma suri, polishing the apple. They're very kind and generous and very open. And that's the thing. Like the Olympics are supposed to be in Japan next year. If anyone who's watching today has an opportunity to go to Japan for the Olympics, it'll be a great experience. I have a feeling you'll have a great time. Again, for some students right now, maybe look at being a volunteer for the Olympics in Japan in 2021. If someone takes that up and you want to reach out to us, reach out to Anish and I, we'll give you some feedback. We'll give you some context, because that would be a life-changing experience.
Absolutely. But I think also coming back to the topic though about Japanese parties, because I'm actually like intrigued. I actually want to know a little bit more about how it works, because I'm a 20-year-old hustler. I like partying. It's fun stuff. I'm in that phase of my life, right? Uh, like what are some of the craziest experiences or craziest parties that you've ever been to? Like how big did it get? How crazy did it get? I'm intrigued to know.
Well, did you ever watch any movies about Japan and some of the wildness about the type of after party life in Japan?
No, I actually haven't.
Okay,
I
let me give
mean,
you two little stories. And
okay,
again,
perfect.
if somebody's going to be offended, I'm not doing or sharing to offend anybody. I'm just sharing what it was, because
Yeah.
again, there would be bars that you'd go to, and they would have the bottles hanging from the ceiling, and
Mhm.
then the waitress would come up, and she would have to reach up to pour your drink. And
Okay.
so if you give her a tip, usually about 40 or 50 or $60, the panties come off, and whenever she goes up, guess what you're seeing? So that's called a no panty bar.
No way. Those existed in Japan.
Yes.
And were they frequent? Like, were they common? Like, could you go to the every second bar has like that sort of
No,
no
no.
panty?
Again, the thing about Japan is they've got themes.
Oh, wow.
So different parts of the town, like Ginza is really great for art and for really expensive bars, and many,
Yeah.
many girly type of karaoke bars. And
Mm.
then Kabukicho is a little bit like a red light district. And so different areas have different themes. But that theme that you've probably, you may have seen on a movie, where the lady will be naked and they'll put sushi on her body, and you'll eat the sushi off her
I
body.
think I've seen that in a movie before. I
Yeah,
think I've
well,
seen that. They
it's
also
true.
have,
And the
yeah.
girl can actually, the girl who does it, foreigner women would do it because they could earn some extra good money. It's like $80 or $100 or $200 a session, where all they're doing lying there. And again, nobody's doing anything rude to her if you
Just
see
watching
the art in it. But if you're into pointing fingers, that's so rude, because the whole, it's called Mizu Shobai. It's the water business. The
Oh.
entertainment business in Japan is huge, yet you do need a huge checkbook to be able to pay for some of this, because it's quite expensive. And so,
Hmm.
but the partying, the clubs, the thing about going to a club in Japan, it's usually an entrance 30, $40, $50, but it's all you can drink for 2 hours.
Pooh.
So
Wow.
what would you do? You would go there,
Go off.
and so like, and then the after party and the second party, and so there's a 24/7 type of energy around it, because you got to remember there's 13, 14 million people in one city.
Yeah.
That does people's, again, if you're used to the population in India, that's different. But if you're talking about the population in Canada or out east in New Brunswick or Alberta,
Oh, we have a lot more space here for sure.
you got 5 million people go through one train station, Shibuya, every day. And so,
Yeah.
at least it used to. Like This is pre-COVID. I'm not talking current situation. So to go and experience it, to go study the language, to study martial arts, to study art, to study sport in Japan. The beautiful thing is they really go deep into it. So, like in martial arts, you're starting as a black belt. And
Yeah.
I've got one friend, he's the 8th Dan black belt. He's a master trainer at the Hombu Dojo in Aikido. He's been doing martial arts for over 40 years. And he continues to learn. And then he takes that type of skill and he goes, learns how to do calligraphy. And then he goes, maybe and learns tap dancing. And so you can really become an artist, but also apply it to business, because the same discipline, the same enthusiasm and sense of fun is really important to really become a master.
Yeah, and so like when you went to Japan and you first saw, things like the no panty bar, which we're not used to here in like Canada, US, something that we don't frequently see at all, right? When you saw things like that, what did you think about, like, how they operate, or how they party, or how they sort of go through things? Did you see that uniqueness through their culture? I mean, that's
Well,
actually pretty cool.
that's the thing about, see, Canada, Toronto, it gives you that perspective, like
Mm-hmm.
1.3 million. And
Yeah.
you just go wider and wider. And the thing about in Japan is that at the extremes, the kinky side of Japan is very, very kinky. All you need to do there is Google kinky Japan, and you'll start to see the kinkiest stuff in the world. That was my experience, is that I got to experience some really kinky things. And it was, as a 20-year-old, it was wild. Like, so it was like, wow. So in some ways it was like being a little kid in a candy store. Yet on the other side, I was also working 17 hours a day. And so
Yeah.
you partied hard, you play hard, and that's why a lot of breakdowns, like right now, there's something called karoshi, and that's death by overwork. In
Oh,
Japan, has
wow.
the highest rate of death by overwork,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, because I
so
heard actually learned this in school, that they take their work very, very serious, and like that's something that they hard work is very important, and like not taking overtime pay sometimes is even a part of it, because it's sort of like, going against your company and showing that you're committed to the company and stuff. So they do have a lot of different cultural rules like that as well, and it's actually really, really interesting. But that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, you being someone who is in business, someone who's like corporate, like I see all these hustlers online, like Gary Vee talking about how they work 24/7 all the fucking time. They don't even look at anything else. Was it frequent to see people who are like in higher positions have that sort of time to go out and party, or have that sort of time to just relax and do other things, do fun activities? I mean, was fun ever a part of your life when you were that 20-year-old hustler?
part of the work was you worked hard, you partied hard. Often the partying was work related, because
Oh,
you went
wow.
out with your staff, you went out with your customers, you went out. So it is a 24/7 lifestyle, because your identity is often tied to your company. And
True.
so that's where it was becoming very, very strong. Now, I think we should have another session on this. So what we're
I
going
would
to do
love
is
to.
ask people to write down questions about Japan, ask them to write down questions about finding their job, dealing with being 20 right now. And let's have
Yeah.
another session on that very soon. Yet let's stir it up and let's see if we can come up with some great strategies to move forward.
Yeah,
Sound good?
this session was great. I mean, I learned a lot of things about Japan. I have a tip or two about, what I could possibly do in the next 6, 12 months of my life, like relocate, finding a job, continuing to work on my business, doing all these different things, and also changing my life completely, right? Because I think relocating or moving away could be something that truly changes the entirety of your life, and breaks the patterns and stuff. So I think it was a great session at Boomers
Thank
and
you.
Hustlers, Dave. Do you have any closing remarks for our viewers?
I think great questions today. Thank you for bringing those games. Invite everyone to gamify their life. I think that's the key question today.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. All
Thanks a
right.
lot.
So thanks a lot, Dave. And we'll definitely touch base and see you guys next week. Make
Happy
sure you leave a
holidays.
like, subscribe, and take care.
Ciao.
Perfect.